Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and we welcome all of you to this morning's session of the Bhagavad Gita. So we are discussing chapter 4. Okay, so far in chapter 4, Krishna has described the sadhaka siddha. Okay, and now he is going to describe yajna or sacrifice. Okay, so let us take a look at sloka number 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gata Sangasya Muktasya. Gata Sangasya Muktasya. Jnanavastita Chetasaha. Jnanavastita Chetasaha. Yajnaya Charata Karma. Yajnaya Charata Karma. Samagram Praviliyate. Samagram Praviliyate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge, what happens to this type of work? It merges entirely into transcendence. Okay. So Prabhupada writes in the purport of this wonderful verse, becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contamination of material modes. Okay, so when we become Krishna conscious, we can transcend the three modes of material nature. So here we are discussing yajna, which means sacrifice. Okay, sacrifice means for who? For Lord Vishnu. We saw that in the previous chapter. Yajnartat karmano anyatra. Now, any activity that we do for the pleasure of Vishnu or Krishna is called yajna or sacrifice. So it doesn't have to be a yajna kund with a fire and we are pouring ghee and saying swaha, swaha, swaha. That's not the only form of yajna. Any activity that we do in our day-to-day life, okay, if we do it for the pleasure of Krishna, that activity will be called yajna. Okay, this is an important thing that we need to understand in our day-to-day life. All our activities we can convert into yajna. So it is done when we just work for Krishna's pleasure. When we do this, a very wonderful thing happens. We will actually transcend the three modes of material nature, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, so devotees, we have to understand one thing, right? We are very nicely controlled by these three modes of material nature. Okay, again in chapter 3, we read this shloka, chapter 3, shloka number 27, I believe, yeah. Prakrite kriyamanani guna karmani sarvashaha. Okay, what does Krishna say in this shloka? Krishna said that all the activities are perfectly controlled by the three modes of material nature. Whatever that we do. Okay, that's why you see when you take a certain person, including ourselves, okay, the person's mood will always be fluctuating. The behavior, even the productivity. Some parts of the day is more productive. Sometimes that person is more productive. Sometimes the person is less productive, right? It keeps fluctuating. Okay, then we ask the person, are you okay? What happened to you suddenly? And we feel, no, I'm the same person only. I have not changed. I'm the same person. So why are these things happening? Okay, this is because of the influence of the three modes of material nature. If we want to be steady in our behavior, we want to be in happiness and bliss, then we have to transcend the three modes of material nature. Krishna says also in the 14th chapter, right? So when we transcend the modes of nature, these three modes of nature can contaminate us. When we transcend, then we can become steady. Okay, and how do we do this? When all our activities, all our daily activities become yajna, when everything we do is for the pleasure of Krishna, then what happens? We will not go through the reactions of our work. Okay, this is very important to understand because we need to work, we cannot escape. But when we make all our activities become yajna, then we can become free from the reactions of work. Okay, so Krishna talks about something in this chapter. The topic of this chapter, who can tell me what it is? Chapter 4, the title.
Transcendental knowledge.
Yes, thank you very much, Mataji. Transcendental knowledge. So, what is transcendental knowledge? Transcendental knowledge is beyond this human form, right? Beyond this material world. Okay, to know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to know that we are the living entities, to understand the material nature, to understand our activities, actions, and reactions. Okay, and to understand how to understand what is time, and to understand how to overcome these three modes of material nature. Okay, so one reflection. Okay, to get this transcendental knowledge is very, very rare. Okay, how many people do we know out there who have this transcendental knowledge? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay, there's a verse, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavana Jeev. You would have heard, many devotees would have quoted this, right? Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. Okay, so what does this shloka mean? Brahmande Brahmite Kon. In this universe, there are so many living entities wandering around. Okay, and out of these millions, very rarely, a few souls who are very fortunate will get an opportunity to associate with a bona fide guru by the grace of Krishna. Okay, and then by the mercy of both Krishna and the Guru, a person will receive the seed of bhakti, Bhakti Lata Beach, the seed of the creeper of bhakti. Okay, we'll receive that seed. So, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna only, we can receive it. And when that is in the heart, then that seed, when once planted in our heart, then the creeper will start growing. Okay, every person is like a gardener. All of us are like gardeners. Okay, so we have this creeper, and now it has sprouted, and we want it to grow. We know it has sprouted, okay, for all of us, because we are joining the classes, we are reading the Bhagavad Gita, we are chanting, we are hearing, right? So we know that that beach or that seed has already sprouted. Okay, now it has to start growing nicely. So like I said, all of us are like gardeners. So what does a gardener do? A gardener will protect the plant. It will nourish the plant by watering it. The gardener, sorry, he will nourish the plant by watering it regularly. So we also have the same responsibility. We have to make sure that our Bhakti Lata beach, which the spiritual master has planted in the heart, we have to make sure that it grows very nicely. And it grows and grows and grows and grows, and it transcends the three modes of material nature, and it will reach the spiritual world. So it has not yet, but we have to work towards this. Okay, what is this watering all about? What does watering mean? What does protection or watering mean? How to protect the creeper? Watering means our sadhana process, hearing, reading. Okay, many times people ask, why should I read and hear? Anyway, Yuga Dharma is chanting. By chanting, I can do everything. But we are not able, we are so contaminated, we are not able to chant 24 hours a day. Right? We are not able to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, what to speak of 24 hours, even 2-3 hours a day. It's challenging, right? So we have to read and hear. This is very important. When we read and we hear, then we get the inspiration to do some service, we get the inspiration to chant Hare Krishna very nicely. Okay, so if we stop reading and hearing, what happens? it's like we stop watering the Bhakti Lata beach. And when we stop watering, what will happen? It will become dry and it will die. Right? And when we kill the Bhakti Lata beach, that's like giving up bhakti. Okay, that's how sometimes we see many people come and go, right? Because of the inability to sustain, the watering is not happening, so the beach dies, and then just without the person realizing itself, the person leaves Krishna consciousness, right? So the taste goes when the Bhakti Lata beach is not watered. The taste goes. Okay, so this opportunity is very, very rare, and it's important that we have to keep watering the plant, watering the creeper. Okay, we can never think, okay, now I'm perfect, I don't need to read and hear. No, we have to continuously read, hear, associate with devotees. Then we will get this transcendental knowledge, and the plant will grow, surpass the three modes of material nature, and reach the spiritual world. Okay, this is a struggle, but we need to do this every day. And when we keep doing it, we keep practicing, then it will become more natural. Okay, to read and hear every day. All right, and slowly our activities will become yajna. Okay, so now let's look at sloka number 24, the next sloka. Okay, in this next sloka, Krishna describes the type of yajna. So from sloka number 23, we know that yajna means sacrifice. Sacrifice means whatever that we do it for Krishna. Any activity that we do. Okay, so now let's look at sloka number 24. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Brahma Karma Samadhina. Okay, translation in English. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Okay, consummation is absolute. It means that our consciousness is fully focused on Krishna, and because of that, see the last line, that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. When our consciousness is fully of Krishna, then whatever we do will also be Krishna conscious, right? So this sloka is about the principle of Krishna consciousness. How should yajna be carried out? Okay, so a conditioned soul, okay, in the purport, okay, when we are entangled in material contamination, what do? We act in a material way, okay, but we have to try and get out of this environment, right? The process by which we can get out of the material environment and material conditioning is Krishna consciousness, okay. So, if we want to transform and we want to progress on the spiritual path, then what should we do? We should transform our activities into Krishna conscious activities. So, Prabhupada gives a very nice analogy in this purport, sloka number 24. It is very often quoted also. When we eat, if there's a person who eats too many milk products, condensed milk and paneer and kheer and all these burfis, milk sweets, right? Then what happens to this person? Ghee, too much of ghee consumption, the halwas full of ghee and all that. What happens to our stomach? We'll get a stomach problem. Our stomach will become upset. Now, if this person wants to get rid of that stomach problem, what should he consume? Another milk product, which is yogurt or curd, right? Having yogurt will cleanse the stomach, clear the stomach, go easy on the stomach a bit. We all have that experience, right? So, a person who's already doing some material activities, what is he supposed to do? He will continue doing the same activities, milk product, right? Continue doing the same activities, but do it in a Krishna conscious way, okay, to help us get rid of the disease or the consciousness of self sense gratification. Okay, so Prabhupada says in the purport, this process is generally known as yajna or activities, sacrifices, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. So in the previous sloka, we discussed what is yajna. Okay, it is sacrifice or activities done for the pleasure of Krishna, right? Okay, so now these material activities that we are doing, if we can just transform them into spiritual activities, all the day-to-day activities that we are doing, okay, they can be spiritualized for the pleasure of Krishna. Then all these activities can become yajna. It's just a matter of switching the consciousness. Okay, so and when we do this, then everything becomes spiritualized and everything becomes yajna. Okay, so Krishna consciousness is very nice. Sthane stita, right? Wherever we are, whatever activities we are doing currently, we just have to continue. We just have to include Krishna consciousness in that, okay, by changing our consciousness. And whatever we do, we think that we are doing this as an offering to Krishna. We are taking care of our family also as an offering to Krishna, right? So then that particular activity, whatever we do, all our activities will become spiritualized. And not only the activity becomes spiritualized, the person who is doing it becomes completely spiritualized. Okay, so we can understand that whenever we offer anything to the Lord, it becomes spiritualized, right? So Prabhupada says in the purport, right, the absolute truth is covered by Maya. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter dovetail for the cause of absolute truth regains its spiritual quality. Okay, well, now we may say the Lord is the Lord, even this material world comes from the Lord. Okay, so if this spiritual world is coming from the Lord, if this material world is coming from the Lord, then how can this material world be material? The Lord is spiritual. So that's why Prabhupada explains, how is it that we are saying, oh, this is material world and we have to spiritualize our activities? So actually this world, okay, the absolute truth, when this world comes into contact with Maya, then it is called matter, right? Then it becomes material. Okay, because of the contact of Maya, it's becoming material. But matter, dovetail for the cause of the absolute truth, will regain its spiritual quality. So beautiful, right? When we dovetail, what now this material world, whatever we are doing is material, but when we again dovetail our activity for the cause of Krishna, then it regains its spiritual quality. Okay, so it's like the sun. When the sun is there, you can see the sun, but sometimes the sun goes behind the cloud. Okay, it becomes material. Okay, when the sun goes behind the cloud, the sun is no longer visible, right? Okay, but you know the sun is there. So similarly, this material world, when it's covered by Maya, okay, it's coming from the Lord, so it's spiritual, but it's covered by Maya. So it's not that it's no longer spiritual, no, it's just covered by Maya. But the actual intrinsic spiritual quality is there. So we just have to make our material activities spiritual. Okay, and then when we dovetail it in that way, our material activities will regain the spiritual identity. Okay, so many may ask, how do we convert our material activities to spiritual activities? Okay, in the purport to this verse, Prabhupada says, when the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is a very popular word. Actually, all of us can be in samadhi. Okay, many times we are enamored by this word samadhi, right? Even we can get into samadhi if our mind is completely absorbed in thinking about how can I serve Krishna, how can I give pleasure to Krishna, okay, how can I use everything I have, all positions that I have in the service of Krishna. Then automatically that person who thinks in this way is in samadhi. Samadhi basically means our mind is completely absorbed in thinking about Krishna. Okay, so we can understand, right, in this way that whatever we do, whatever material activities that we do, we can continue doing them. When we include the element of Krishna consciousness, then those activities become spiritual. Okay, it becomes completely spiritualized. And slowly, because when our intentions are spiritualized, the activity becomes spiritualized, we also become Krishna conscious. Okay, and how do we start? Okay, we incorporate the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We spend some time to read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, we associate with devotees, and whatever it is that we are doing, our household activities, we always think of Krishna. We always think of Krishna, and do them. Okay, so in this way, we can slowly and steadily make all our activities become Krishna conscious and become spiritual. Okay, so those were the slokas for today, chapter 4, slokas number 23 and 24, about how everything that we do can become yajna if we offer it to Krishna, and what the consciousness should be when we perform our day-to-day activities. Okay, so we wish all of you a very, very Krishna conscious day ahead, so that today we can specially focus, whatever we do, we can think, okay, how can I make this yajna? How can I offer this to Lord Krishna today? Okay, so thank you all very, very much. Hare Krishna. Hope to see you all again in the next class. Thank you very much. Sri Hari Prabhu, Amrita Mataji, Chetan Prabhu, Ganesh Prabhu, and
Thank
Sharada
you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Girivaradari Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu.